I am Sadaf Siddiqui, SuccessFactors XM lead consultant at Talent Team. It has been amazing 3+ year I've been with the organization, and it has been absolutely wonderful and very rich work experience I have had so far with the organization. So yeah. So in the webinar today, like Venetia has already set up the context, we are going to cover this SuccessFactors Work Zone from the perspective of how it can help building a next-gen experience platform for the organization. So other than that, we do have an additional piece which we'd like to cover in the webinar that's around the SAP Build product. And before I would say more about it, let's first go through the agenda of the webinar today, what all topics that we have planned, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so right here, for this webinar, we have actually planned to cover the SuccessFactors Work Zone in primarily. Apart from that, before we actually start understanding what is the SAP SuccessFactors Work Zone product is all about, what it offers, what are the key capabilities it offers, what are the main features it has, and also to look at the brief demonstration of the SuccessFactors Work Zone product. It's very important because I understand the participant that we have with us in the webinar today. You may come from a different background. You may be a business user at the organization. You may be the part of the IT information technology team. So in the sense and you may be already part of the SAP SuccessFactors solution team, or you already have a SuccessFactors Work Zone implemented and you may want to take it to the next level. So from that perspective, because the product is continuously evolving, there has been some changes happened over the period of time. So it's important that you understand the product landscape and also that where it derives from. That's where we have added a very first topic in this webinar, which is our SAP Build Work Zone. We are going to put space on a very high level in the sense that you need to understand what's the SAP Build Work Zone product is all about and what's the product overall strategy, and also whatever the product at this point in time offers, which is actually inherited by the SuccessFactors Work Zone, at least combined with the SAP Build Work Zone. What is the actually motivation factors around building the product features and functionality in that way, the way currently they are. So that's going to be that. And also with the webinar, we want to share some of the additional resources with you, which you can take a look at it after the webinar, some of the standard SAP documentation available on the SAP Build Work Zone and the SuccessFactors Work Zone, some implementation guiding principles if you are and currently maybe you have had a SAP Jam implemented in the past and you do want to now move to the SAP SuccessFactors Work Zone. So from that perspective, what you need to consider. And like Venetia already mentioned, that if you have any question, feel free to drop them in our Q&A box. Otherwise, we have a dedicated time slot reserved at the end of the webinar to take all the questions that you have. All right. So that's about our agenda. Now let's get started with our very first topic, that is the SAP Build Work Zone. Yeah. So over here, if you, this is, again, like I said, we are going to touch base on a very high level overview to give you an overall context of the entire product landscape. So SAP Build Work Zone is actually part of the SAP Build family. That's the portfolio. And it actually, if you look at this slide, the pictorial representation, it explains that it sits on top of the SAP Business Technology platform. Where on top of it, where you can actually build the different apps, you can have your process automation builds, the processes that you want to automate, and you also can actually build your different business websites. And that's where in that area, the SAP Build Work Zone is a part of where you can build something on top of the SAP Business Technology Platform. SAP Business Technology Platform is nothing but it actually offers a unique, unified, and very open platform where a different kind of capabilities that are required by the organization that can be built on a cloud platform perspective. There has been some changes in terms of the terminology, like I was saying, and that's the reason we have included this topic in this webinar. So the SAP Build Process Automation, that is what you see here, is used to be called SAP Process Automation. The SAP Build Work Zone, which is you see now, has been referred, used to be called SAP Work Zone. So in case you have been referring these documentation or having conversations with your implementation partners or with SAPs, you may see the difference in some of these terminologies, the way they were used earlier and now the way they used. All right. Okay. So this is very important, and we'll take a good minute to understand that there are different capabilities offered at the core by the SAP Build Work Zone, on with which, when the success factor is combined, it provides a unified digital experience, learning experience, the experience for the other process areas within the organization, how it does and how it actually has reached to that level. In an organization, there are many applications, many processes that actually are in use in every organization, and employees are at the core of any organization. So in their day-to-day activities, during their entire journey from hire to retire, they actually have to access a lot of applications. They have to provide information. So for an example, for learning, they have to go to the whatever learning application they have in place. If they need to have access to any kind of ticketing tool, then they need to raise a ticket through that tool. So what has actually been observed in the past that yes, organizations do have so many applications. It does actually provide them what they need to do it. It actually puts a lot of requires a lot of efforts from the employee perspective. Gone are the days where the focus were only on the HR and the management. With the experience, the XSM, the human experience management, with that strategy, focus has now shifted to employee because they are the heart of the business. So that has started driving the entire product strategy, in the sense that there was a need to build something which can give a unified experience to an employee, that they don't have to move away from their current platform. They get every information they need right from there. They should be able to access the required applications and tools directly right from there. And that is one of the important product driving factors. The another important aspect over here is, which you see, that apart from the employees, the and people who are responsible in the organization for defining the business processes, for taking the decisions around the business strategies, in terms of what is required, what is needed for an overall organizational perspective. They have felt a little lost, in the sense that, yeah, they want to achieve something, but whether the organization has a required availability of the tool, or required availability of the application. And that's where at times they have felt lost. So that's where bringing all the applications that are currently being utilized by an organization and given the holistic picture to the business user to be able to consume them, and also to strategize how they can utilize them for an overall business process optimization, and also to give the actual users, the end users, a good experience. Another factor that actually has derived the overall product development is usage of the different applications. across the organization for various purposes of different technologies. And when you have a need to bring different technology and put them in together, that's where you can create a unified experience. So considering all that, that's where the actual it's not a work of a few months. There has been a work of many years, because of which the product is where it is now. And some of the factors that we have just discussed are definitely were the driving factors to actually have this when why this product has been conceived. Moving on, so this is, we've talked about what were the real driving factors for building the product. At this point in time, currently the SAP Build Work Zone, which used to be called SAP Work Zone, is now available in two editions. One is called a standard edition and another one is called the advanced edition, which is the focus of this webinar today, which used to be called SAP Work Zone earlier. Now this is called advanced edition. So when you have a conversation with your Cs or with your implementation partner, you may hear these terminologies more often. So any organization who would like to implement success factor, this work zone in the context of the SAP success factor, they are already the SAP success factor customer, or maybe they want to build some of the modules, and with even for that module and some of the other business processes, if they want to create a unified experience, what they have to go ahead with the advanced edition of the SAP Build Work Zone. Right. We have already talked about some of the driving factor. Now we will take a look at what has been some of the product strategy. And this is, again, like I said at the beginning, this is for us to have a proper background set before we actually start discussing about what SAP SuccessFactors Work Zone is all about. What does it. So over here, from the strategy perspective, the product team has strategized the key vision items, and these vision items has been are in combination with the driving factors, have actually driving the overall development of different features and functionalities that are currently exist in the product, and also that are going to be part of the future roadmaps. So definitely for an organization, it's very important to increase the user efficiency, and that is something can only be done if you provide more and more self-service option to them, and also the information they need to access or to perform their actions right on the go or keep it very handy. Empowering the business users so that they can actually can set up some baseline information around the process, the business process, and also they can share it with the rest of the specific target group of users. So in the workspace is the functionality, which we'll definitely talk more about later in this webinar, and will also be part of the demo that we have planned. So you create a workspace. Those who are familiar with the SAP Jam product, this is something similar to the Jam groups. And also to foster more and more collaboration between internal employees and external employees through various kind of collaboration tools available right out of the box in the product from the knowledge sharing perspective to gather feedback so that the process can be more improved in an organization. If the organization have a good number of external users, so it's important for them that they make them feel more engaged. They will not feel left out, and that's where the collaborative workspace can be set up as part. This is very important. It is writing in a one statement. It makes it feel simpler, but I think it is the most complex part of the from the terms of how the product has actually incorporated this feature, that uh, for any kind of complex and the lengthy business processes that requires maybe data flow in and out from different applications, approval, multiple level of approvals, and also the sensitive information, critical information, for example, payroll processing, where maybe not everything on the main SAP application, some of the part of the process is managed by a third party application. In that scenario, to provide a seamless process flow to the users who are part of that business flow, that's where the SAP Build Work Zone has facilitated a platform where if you have SAP and non-SAP applications, you can actually build a seamless integration depending on obviously the feasibility, and then you can create a seamless even workflow processes, the business processes for everyone to have a good experience. There are some out-of-the-box content packages available, and we will touch base on, as part of the SAP SuccessFactors Work Zone, some of HR content packages that are available out of the box, how that can be utilized. And these are something predefined content packages which can be utilized as is, if that is something organization find them fit for their processes, or they can be customized using the other tools available as part of the It does has been built with the vision that it has to focus on simplifying administration, and I think it does so much correlate with the very first vision item, which is how you can improve the user efficiency. As much as your end users are become more efficient, the admin overhead can go less and less, and that's where giving the more intuitive, more adaptive experience to your end user can help your admins to have done less and less admin activities on behalf of your end users. All right, so those were the strategy vision items around the SAP Build Work Zone. So we've talked about what were the driving factors, the key driving factors behind the product, what has been the vision strategies, and there will be a continued focus on these vision scope items. So moving on, now we will talk about that what is actually the SAP Success Factor Work Zone. Okay, so we talked about the SAP Build Work Zone. Now, what is the SAP Success Factor Work Zone? And this slide over here, I put a very simplified tutorial representation of that, and it can definitely makes you understand what is the SAP Success Factor Work Zone. So what it does is, when you combine the capabilities of SAP Build Work Zone, the advanced edition that is available, which actually provide a centralized access to the application, integration with the external application, mobile access to the services that you want to offer or surface on the platform, and also extend the capabilities through the integration cards or the guided service. When these core capabilities provided or offered by the SAP Build Work Zone, they're combined with the SAP Success Factor, uh, that part of the product portfolio, which has some additional extended functionality, which you can see it here, some of the UI integration cards, some workflows, and the workplace template. And that's what I was referring earlier when I said there are some out-of-the-box content packages available. So with the SAP SuccessFactor edition, for the customers who already have SAP SuccessFactor, with this combination of the product portfolio, they get some out-of-the-box content packages, some of the standard integration cards. We will talk about all of them in detail, what are all available at this point in time, how you can utilize them, how you can customize them. Some of the workflow services available, which you can utilize to build workflow on top of these, and also the workspace templates available, which you can reutilize to build your baseline templates, or you can just use them as is. And that makes, from product perspective, the entire SAP SuccessFactors Work Zone solution. Hey, right. So that was from the architecture perspective. Now, if we have to put down from the solution perspective, you have to define what the SAP SuccessFactor Work Zone is all about. It's nothing but because it's a SAP SuccessFactor Work Zone, it's a HR solution. So this is again, it is focused on the human resource, all the processes where you can have like all the processes that you are currently managing through your SAP SuccessFactors. Some of the information you can pull in into SAP SuccessFactor Work Zone, and you can surface that information. By surfacing that information, you are creating a one-stop place for people to consume that information, and you can also utilize the other functionalities of available in the product to create a seamless experience for an employee, that they don't have to go away out of the success factor if they want to look at what are the learning they need to do, what are the goals they have to develop on, what are the trending content, what is the new policies around the organization that has been recently released. Some of the other from the solution perspective is definitely where the different teams in the organization, be it a finance, IT, or procurement, where the maximum engagement is required, they can actually set up an effective communication and engagement by sharing the information, providing information through and within the product itself. Your employees, the end users, they can feel more engaged, they can feel more productive when they have the information they want, the correct piece of information available to them right on the time when they need it. And that's what something through the SAP SuccessFactor Work Zone you can achieve. Right. This is again a pictorial representation from the capabilities perspective, that from the and within the work zone, what all you can actually achieve. So if we quickly take anti-clockwise look at this picture. So over here, where you can build a self-service intranet for your employees, where they don't have to go away from the SAP SuccessFactor Work Zone portal, the portal that you create through the Work Zone. Can be employee focused. Like I said, employees are actually heart of the business. So as much as you can uh, encourage them to become a part of the information they need to access, and also to keep everything that you build within the business process around them. The business process, the chances of having the business process being successful increases the more. They can communicate and engage. You can embed the Launchpad services, which is actually the other edition of the SAP Build Work Zone, the standard edition. You can build a team collaboration, the functionality once you have your portal set up, because it is supported on the SAP mobile as well. There are separate mobile cards available, so you can access the information there as well. So that actually makes the employee feel more connected, because they don't have to wait to come to the office and access things. They can access something they need right there on their mobile devices. Create a guided experience, which is kind of self-informatory in the sense that, for an example, if someone is going on long-term leave in an organization, there's a policy, there is a specific requirements for an employee to fulfill before they even start on their long-term leave, or any specific kind of, for example, maternity leave, paternity leave. So there you can set up a guided workflow where they can actually have information around what is the entire step-by-step process they need to follow, and also the information, the document they need to provide. So this is kind of self-explanatory and self-guided. It can reduce the admin overhead and can make the employee more productive. There are some other functionalities that can be leveraged within the product itself, that you can, there are some chatbot integrations. You can have your chatbot built, you can have this integrated, you can utilize the out of the box available integration cards, which actually pulls in the information from other system, from SuccessFactor modules, and then surfaces on the from the workzone perspective. You can utilize the standard ones, you can customize them using the business application studio. And also there are capabilities available for you to be able to integrate the platform with the other SAP and non-SAP applications, depending on their feasibility. So this is the overall from the capabilities perspective, what all you can do and what you cannot. But this gives a fair idea in the sense that why we are saying that this is SAP SuccessFactors Work Zone, which is a part of the SAP Build Work Zone product portfolio. This is a next gen experience because employees, the business users, managers, your admins, your IT team, they don't have to go away and find information from different applications and wait if there are any one application is down. You have everything available from and within the work zone as soon as you have the provided the necessary application that needs to feed the information into the platform. You have everything integrated. They can work all inside. All right. Now let's take a look at some of the key features, and these are going to form some background of the demo that we are going to show in few minutes. That the from the key features perspective, that what are the value add the SAP SuccessFactors Work Zone can have on your overall HR business landscape? That it can surface data from your different backend applications. So you may have currently, maybe if you're in your current or current landscape for your managing any kind of HR tickets, you are using ServiceNow applications. So you can actually have that ticket information pulled in from the application and then surface it on right there on the SuccessFactors Work Zone portal, and then employee can access it from there. Sorry. Then workspace management. So this is, I briefed about it. These are nothing but where you can actually combine the capability of collaboration and the content together for a specific group of users. This is something similar to how it used to be in Jam groups. We'll talk about more about what kind of different workspaces you can create within the SAP SuccessFactors Work Zone. You can have a dedicated pages created for the entire company for a specific group of users that can help them to consume information, the right information, and also you can have some of the content placed on the pages which can be actionable, or you can make them interactive if you want to get some feedback. Branding and theming perspective, definitely the success factor work zone, it does has the out of box theme designer, that capability which can help you align the overall theming of the work zone portal to your company's branding guidelines. Receiving alerts through notification, through the email notifications, again, to ensure that your admins, your business users, your employee are informed, and also if there are any actions, they are taking those action on time. There are standard alerts available through which they can be informed, and then it's something they can actually access from their notification center right there, which can have the notifications and alerts from across the different application. Integrated search, you can have a content. You may want to have a search on, maybe you want to search for someone who is in the IT department. You want to search for a subject matter expertise from your learning L&D department. So from that perspective, it provides an integrated search functionality where you can search the content, you can search the people, you can actually search for the any kind of document that has been surfaced or shared, and if you have access to it. Integrated task and approval. This is something, the inbox functionality. It used to be called SAP Task Center, I believe, if I'm correct. Yeah, in the past, which now is my inbox. So that's where if you are part of any of the approval process, workflow processes that has been built as part of the application that you have integrated with the SuccessFactors Work Zone. So those kind of tasks and approvals can come and sit in your My Inbox, which is your unified My Inbox to access all kind of tasks that you may have to perform. Right. So that's about some of the features. Uh, Features does form a baseline of from the functionalities perspective, from the process perspective, what capabilities SuccessFactors Work Zone does offer. And these capabilities, they are mainly revolves around and for because these are the baseline functionality which can help you build the and utilize the work zone to its fullest, the UI integration card. And we have referred to this a couple of times already here. So the integration cards are nothing but these are one of the component in the product that actually allows you to pull the information from the so here we are talking from the context of success factor. So their success factor has different modules. Success factor have modules from the core HR player perspective, the talent modules, and the learning. So there are some pre-configured cards that are available out of the product, um, where you can get the information already available. You can have your, if you talk about the learning, so you can have your learning plan, learning calendar, learning catalog, all that information coming into work zone through these integration cards. So employee don't have to go away out of the work zone and then access their what learnings they have to do. They can directly access it from there. The another important component of the product is the guided experience, and we did touch base on that. That these are nothing but a step-by-step process defined, which can help employee to uh, perform a necessary action, be informed about what is the overall process, and also ensure that they don't miss on any information they need to know for any of the critical uh, experiences they want to have. And the workspace templates, these are again the baseline template that can help organizations to actually build some community of purposes, collaboration websites, or maybe a space where they want to have their specific target group of people to engage, collaborate, and share information. So it can be on a project specific, it can be maybe a learning program is delivered that has external participant or external speaker. You do want to have an interaction between the participant and the instructor. You do set up these kind of workspaces and have it to go. Right. Continuing to the capabilities perspective, like I was saying, there is some out of the box content available when you actually, when the SAP Build Work Zone, it is for there for the SAP SuccessFactor. So some of the integration cards that are available, it's from your SAP SuccessFactor, your profile information can pulled in and be displayed, your org chart information, time off information, page statements. So if you see, it is an extensive list of what is currently available. It is not something which is freeze in the sense that there are going to be no more cards. With every release, new and new cards are getting added to the product. The existing cards are getting enhanced. So it does cover almost the entire suite. From the homepage perspective, that information is also can be now surfaced. Learning is covered where a lot of learning information you can provide right there in the work zone. Your performance goals, your continuous performance activities, your on the spot. There are some out of the box guided experience available where based on if you have these functionalities or these modules in place in your success factor portfolio, then you can actually utilize these guided experience for your employee to create a seamless experience for on the spot awards. Um, Return to workplace, this definitely has been added in the context that few past years have been the pandemic time where the most of the work has been done remotely. Then after the pandemic time ended, then there was a time that people required to return to workplace. So how we can ensure that when they are returning to workplace, they have everything set from the operational perspective and also from regulatory perspective. These are the guided experience available for the new journeys. And this is one of the latest edition. It is very important that because for your new hires experience the company culture, the what company can offer for the very first time. So giving them a very best experience from the company perspective is very important. So they should not feel lost. They should have all the information they need to get started in an organization in for their role. That's where the guided experience journey available for onboarding as well. Some of the content templates for the workspace where you can utilize for managers for learning, return to workspace, and the HR zone. So as part of the content packages available with the SAP SuccessFactor Work Zone, you can actually enable all these cards and the guided experience. And depending on the usage, if the standard design, the information that these cards, the guided experience does provide, it fulfills the business process requirement, you can utilize them as is. Otherwise, there is a tool available that is called the Business Application Studio. With the SAP SuccessFactor Work Zone or any SAP Build Work Zone licensing, I believe you do get an access as a customer to the Business Application Studio as well. But however, to be able to utilize that tool, you need to have a specific skill set to be able to upgrade the existing integration cards or guided experience, or if you want to create a new cards altogether, the custom cards or guided experience. All right, so that's that. And now, after having go through with what where actually SAP SuccessFactor Work Zone, this product has derived from the build, what it is offer, what are the key capabilities. What now we would like to do is, and as part of the demo, we want to keep it very simple in the sense you understand what are the key capabilities, because when it comes to defining the experience for your employee, it is it is very unique for every organization because it depends on which industry you are in. It depends on what's your layer of employees that you work with, if you have more external, if you have more internals, if you're a flat organization, if you are have a structured organization, then that experience journey, it's unique to an organization. So here in the demo, we would like to show you that what are the key capabilities that you can utilize to start building that experience for an employee and then take it from there the next level. So yeah, in the demo, we are going to cover what is my workspace. We will see how the work pages can be built with the out-of-box standard cards and widget. We will also see how you can have a different kind of workspaces, what are the different guidance experience available. And that is with the intent where the message that we want to convey is, once you will take a look at it, you will understand that this is how can help you enable a experience for an employee where they will feel connected, they will have a one place to access all the information, and also they will feel a part of the guided journey where they don't feel lost. They have the information to access, they have a action to take, and they have contact information to contact whoever they need to for any of their action. So now let's jump to our product demo. I'm going to, for a second, stop sharing of my screen. I will reshare it again. Give me one more second. I'm trying to pull up our demo system. Okay. Right. Okay. I am back and I should be sharing my screen again. Right. I hope you all can see the success factor uh, demo instance. So here, what we are trying to perfect. Thanks for the thumbs up. Right. So over here, like I said, this is going to be very baseline product demo, but we do want to show you the capabilities it has. So this is the SAP SuccessFactors Work Zone, what you are seeing it here. So as you see, we have set up some of the baseline landing page for an employee. There is a capability for an employee to explore my workspace. We'll come to that. What is it? Then there is a capability for an employee to access all the workspaces that are available for them to be part of if they are intended audience for that. And also some of the out of box tools available for them to be able to create different kind of contents and consume them. Sorry. So as you see here, I'm an employee and I do want to actually, whenever I want to come to my company portal, my primary focus is because that is something, this is a time of performance and development. I do want to become best of my version. And that's why I always look out what is available from the different courses perspective, what are the different courses that I need to do from my learning perspective. And this is a very simple example of the common page that you can set up for your employees, where the process and the information they want to consume is something consistent. So I do want to take a look at it. What is the current performance process? What is the performance cycle? If I'm part of the manager role, what is the performance cycle that it follows if I'm part of the management team, or if it is a different kind of performance process they have to take place. You can have that performance processes, all the guides available through here. And then it's not only the information that you want to share with your employees, it's also important that they do know well right on time if there are any actions around their performance. So that's where you can actually surface the goals, their performance goals directly from their success factor performance templates as part of the current cycle. If I am part of the performance business role goals, I can see what all goals that I have, what's the due date. I can actually, depending on, I can look at the information of these goals. Some of the information that if you want to consume, it will take you to directly to the success factor. Some of the information can be directly embedded out of the box. That is another example we will show. When you look at the success factor homepage, they don't have to go away from the work zone. You will be right there. So as part of the page setup, I can see my goals here. I can also see my development goals here, which are very important for me to be able to learn and grow more and more. I can look at what are the different learning programs available. This is a very simple example of the standard rotating banner widget. People who have worked or have used the SAP Jam, you should be very familiar with what the rotating widget. So setting up a page is very simpler process. This actually provides where you can have a different like a layout setup. You can add, depending on the what information you want to surface, you can utilize these standard widgets. If you want to surface information from other application, that's where the integration cards and the guided experience come into play, which are as part of this work success factor works, and you do get some out of the integration out of the box integration cards. And this is our demo environments. You might see some of the a long list of integration cards because some of the has been built as custom. However, the standard list that I showed is primarily the one that is available. So for someone who has the administrative right, they can easily set up these pages and then make them available. So this is around any process you want to make it available for employee. If you want to share some information, you can set up a knowledge center pages where they can actually take a look at all the policies and services. If there are any frequently asked questions, they can actually look at those questions instead of asking that question over and over again. So that's the first capability of utilizing the portal where you can set up different pages for different purposes. Another capability that Work Zone offer is where I am an employee and I do want to be custodian of my own task. How you can provide this capability to your end users? This is where the My Workspace come into play, where I know that I do want to take a look at all the trending articles available in the organization just to ensure that I don't miss on any important information. So this is something I can set up for myself. I do want to always have a quick access to my profile information. I do want to take a look at what are my mandatory trainings that are due, that are nearing the deadline, so that I'll not miss on that. So this is providing the capabilities to the employees, and setting up my workspace is something every employee can do as soon as you enable this capability. So it's again in terms of what they can access and not for surfacing the information perspective. The same list of the widgets and the integration cards are available. And that information they can set it up that what they want to access very frequently, and that information is personalized to them. So this will give them a experience of more personalized company portfolio. I was mentioning about some of the content that you can embed right within the success factor here. So this is the example of that. This is where is the standard integration card available for the success factor homepage. What it does is you may have a success factor already in place, but when you will move to getting implemented the work zone, you do want to create it as your company portal. And it is important that if your success factor is the entry point for employees, and you do want to move that away to your work zone, that you can actually embed it here. So your employees don't have to go to back to the success factor. However, when they are on work zone, they can actually access the information they need from the success factor here itself. So you see, they are not navigating away from the success factor work zone. They are here itself. You can actually work on the actions from the success factors they have. So that's around the workspace, my workspace. We did also talked about briefly that there is a functionality available which is called a workspace, which actually helps building kind of collaboration spaces between different group of users. These can be public, private, or external. These are exactly similar to how these used to be with the SAP Jam portfolio. So the public ones, which everyone can access and consume information, private one are more close in the sense if you do want to share some information only with your higher management, then you keep it in a private workspace. If you want to share some information with your externals, you will create an external kind of so that you can invite them. This is a very baseline setup of a knowledge base workspace where across the company for different topics, different category of topics, you do want to have a consolidated one structure where all the knowledge base articles created on by your HR, your IT, or even published by your higher management, they are all available here. So you can have your knowledge base articles set up. You can also have a forums created because it's important that articles are published, but they receive a kind of feedback or engagement. So to ensure that you can actually set up a forums of discussion, forum of questions, and maybe just a forum to get a poll on whether which article is the most liked, or if there is any kind of improvement required. Anyone who has an access to create workspaces, they will also have access to, so you will set it up, you can modify it, you can create a new workspace as well. That's around the workspace. The one last bit that I want to cover as part of this demo is we have talked about the integration cards. We have talked about the pages setup, your workspaces setup. We did touch base through the slides that there's kind of guided experience functionality available. So that It's very easy. For an example, for your maybe for your new joiners, you do want to set up a kind of guided experience that as soon as they join, they have a day one activities, day two activity, day three, and that is through a guided experience that, okay, you are reaching your end of first week, you need to complete these tasks. How you can enable that? There is a onboarding experience guided journey available, which you can utilize. So for example, you will set uh, my onboarding. This is a workspace. Um, Set it up as public so all the new joiners can. You can also ensure access to the different workspaces through the list that you create, that you can restrict the access. Here you see, as soon as I've actually started setting up this workspace, I also have some guided experience available out of the box, where for as a workspace admin, I get to see that what are the recommended actions for me, that I should customize the work page to make it relevant to what this workspace is for, add any content that the group, the member of this workspace should access, if there are any important information I want to convey as soon as they join the workspace, and also if the additional settings. So it also comes depending on the template that you choose for creating a workspace. It comes with some predefined format, but it's up to you. How do you want to design it? You can actually keep some of the section as is, or just clear them all off if you want to design this the way you want it. So we'll take an example of here for the onboarding. So for an example, and I think I'm gonna take up the other example here. For example, yeah. So I have taken a different example here. Again, in the onboarding experience, when you are part of the initial employee journey, let's say you do want to give some appreciation to your buddy, okay, and there is a buddy spot awards available in the organization. So you can have the spot award, this enable the guided experience, enable within right within the workspace. So anyone who will have access to the workspace, they will actually have access to the on the spot, that guided experience as well. But definitely for this, you'll have to have it set up the different kind of spot awards in your success factor solution. And once those are available, you can actually start looking at those spot awards and then give the awards to the people. This is a very baseline example of the how you can set up a workspace. And with that, I would like to conclude the demo as well. And here we have covered setting up a page. You can build a knowledge center page. You can build page around the processes. You can give a capability for your employees to set up a personalized workspace, my task center kind of. You can build any different kind of workspaces depending on the different target groups. This is the out of box functionality. If you want to extend what Workzone offers, there is a capability where you can build your own custom cards, pull in the more information. You can build your own workflows. You can build integration with the other applications from where you want to have integration with. All right. Um, that concludes our demo. I will go back to our presentation. Right. So we also would like to share some of the additional resources along with the this webinar. If you may want to take a look at in more detail on the product uh, at a high level, or maybe in a detailed level. So there are some of the resources we thought would be useful for you if you want to take a look at what is the SAP Build Work Zone, what is the Work Zone capabilities. If you are planning to migrate to the SAP SuccessFactors Work Zone from Jam, then what are the consideration you need to take? And also, if you want to extend the capabilities of the product for your own business processes, then what are the extension capabilities are available. So I believe these resources, when you offer, will help you get more understanding around these topics. And with that, we have actually come to the end of our um, webinar. I hope you have found this useful in the sense we have kept it very precise from the perspective that we did touch base from the product perspective, the landscape perspective, the architecture, what is the vision of the product, and also give you a fair understanding of that if you want to get started with the implementation, then what is the baseline that you can have set up with the available functionalities. Right. Um, Venetia, do we have any questions that we should be taking up on the Q&A panel?
I think we have another question. Someone has asked if there is anything already pre-built for onboarding.
I think it's for offboarding.
Oh, sorry,
Uh,
offboarding. Yeah.
yeah. No, I think that is as of now nothing that is available for offboarding. But I believe because something has already been made available for the onboarding, and there has been a constant updates to the and updates and addition to the list of cards and garden experience. I hope it should be available in the future. But as of now, we don't have any such communication, even from the roadmap perspective.
All right. I hope that answered the question. The next question would be, what are the prerequisites for implementing SAP SuccessFactors Work Zone include?
All right. Uh, I think for the customers who do not have SAP Success Factors, for you to be able to get the Success Factor work zone implemented, it's important that first you have one of the Success Factor module implemented so that you can utilize a work zone as your corporate portal or for your employees. And you have to ensure that your success factor, the IAS and IPS, your authentication for your users, it is actually um, through the IAS and IPS. That's the mandatory requirement. And definitely you have to have access to the SAP BT application.
All right, thank you. A last question would be, what is the process for SAP Jam tenant for upgrading to SAP SuccessFactors Work Zone?
Right. Yeah, I think we did mention about it, but we didn't discuss that in detail. Yeah, if you are an existing or you may have had the SAP Jam implemented in the past and you are planning to move to SuccessFactor Work Zone, then what you need to do is you have to first check which edition of the Jam that you currently have, because for you to be able to migrate to Work Zone, you have to first upgrade to SAP Jam Enterprise Edition. If you are already on the Enterprise Edition, then nothing's that sort of step is required. You just can directly get in touch with the SAP, where they will actually migrate your SAP Jam to the Work Zone if you're already in Enterprise. If you're not, then first you have to get yourself upgraded to the Enterprise Edition. Again, it is done with the SAP support, and then you can follow the next getting to upgrade it to the Work Zone.
Okay, I think there's another question. Do we need a different license or is it free like Jam Basic?
There is no free basic Work Zone edition available for both the editions, be it a standard edition or the advanced edition. You have to have a specific license,
All right. I hope that
which is paid.
answered your question. Any more questions from any of you guys? Feel free to please post it on the chat box, or if you have any questions later at any point of the time, please feel free to email us at info@talentteam.com, and I'll make sure that I'll pass it on to Sadaf and it'll get answered. Just giving it a minute. Thank you so much, Sada, for an extremely wonderful session. It was very detailed and very well put.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And I think we don't have any more questions. I'm going to stop the recording now. Thank you so much.